Hello everyone, Geeks here, off on another aquatic adventure. Got a little friend here, Mr. Turtle. Hello. Only reason he's really hanging around is because I've got some seagrass in my hand. If I let that go, he's gonna disappear. But it was nice to have a friend for a little while. Bye bye. Today I am off to show you some colour. As you can see behind me, we've got a little bit of colour there. We've got the coral just behind us. So we've got the blue, the yellow, the magenta, red and pink. They do have funky names, like the red is fire coral, magenta's bubble, horn for the yellow, the blue's tube, and the pink is brain. So that is essentially those. If we take a look right next to those, we've got the sea pickle, which is essentially your underwater lighting, which if you can't, you can't see it. Sorry, you can't see it so much from down there, but from here you'll see that that coral over there is quite lit up in areas, and that's because of the sea pickles. They give off some light. Now these are your actual coral blocks. So we've got the various, they're named the same. So again, that's the brain, the horn, yeah, I can't remember the names, but anyway, red, yellow, pink, blue, magenta. These are the only colours that they come in. I have got these out of the water to look at. The only reason I can actually do that is because I've got water behind them. If I don't have water behind them, then when I plant them, they will die, and this is the dead variations of them. So any building you want to do with coral has to have either one side has to be touching water. So if you want to build with it, you either need to do a waterfall wall behind it, sort of like I've done, or you need to have it potentially with the water on the bottom, but then you'd only be able to do one layer. You'd have to get tricky with it, or you can actually build an underwater base, a complete underwater base. And with the wonderful addition of the conduit, you actually don't need to worry about taking out all the water if you don't want to. So over here I have already placed one inside this little box here, and that is essentially what allows me to sit under here and not lose any bubbles. You'll see that my bubbles didn't go down when I was over there, and they're not going down here. And that is basically because inside of here I've got the conduit. Now that is made with the heart of the sea, which you get out of buried treasures, and also the nautilus shells, which you can get through fishing or through killing drowns that are carrying them. You also notice it's actually quite light here. That is also an addition of the nautilus. While when you are underwater in these oceans, the longer you're under there, the easier it is for you to see. It's definitely not this bright normally. So this is the conduit here. You can hear the heartbeat maybe in the background, but you can definitely see the little symbol up in the top right hand corner. Now this is one way of setting it up. There are a few different variations of encasing these in prismarine, and the amount of prismarine around them will determine how much distance you can go away from this thing and still have its effects. If I pop a block underneath it so it's touching a block, there you go, you'll see that it's closed off and it's no longer working, and I will eventually lose that power. So it's disappeared. You'll see already the lighting's gone down. We come out here, we can only really see the sea pickle lighting that's helping with that. So we will get rid of that block again, and you'll see it instantly went back up. So depending on what power it is at, so if I was just putting that on top of one block, that box would look as open. So it kind of opens up more and more the more power that you've given it. definitely a handy little tool. Oops. And if you're interested, I've already used one when I was doing a guardian farm. It's in one of my 1.14 videos if you want to take a look at that. But this is essentially one of your coral reefs. Very colourful, very pretty. You've got all the different, so this is your coral, there's your fan versions of them, and then obviously the block version. So this one's quite a big coral reef. You can get smaller ones that don't have quite as many, and amongst them you'll have all your tropical fish who decide to come down to visit as well. And there's a few different types of your fish. Oops, that's just normal cod. That's not a tropical fish. You will find the pufferfish in here. You do need to be careful of those because, because of that. You get too close and they'll puff up and they will get you. It's not too bad, but they're definitely a little bit dangerous if you're not careful. Again, you'll see that I'm a bit of a distance away from there, so you can actually travel a bit of distance away in order to still get the conduit effect. These guys are quite nifty. Again, you can catch them with a bucket of water. Unfortunately, you can only catch one at a time, so that means that so I can't catch him. That does mean that you're kind of having to fill up your inventory with buckets of water in order to catch a whole heap to take back to your base. But they definitely make for a colourful experience as you're floating around a coral reef. Now, with mining these guys, you do need to use Silk Touch. If you don't use Silk Touch, it'll instantly die. So if I use a fortune on there, it dies straight away. That's it. And you can't bring them back to life. Once you've killed it, you've killed it. It's gone. So you definitely need to be using your Silk Touch, and you'll notice again that everything floats to the top, so you can be sitting down here mining away, mine as much as you want, and then just go up the top and collect it all. The fans are exactly the same. You want to use a Silk Touch on them, and the coral, if you use a fortune, you will lose them. They just vanish. The sea pickles you can use fortune on, they'll still work, but everything else you need to use Silk Touch. Again, it's all sitting up here up the top. So that is essentially your coral reefs. Quite a nifty new block. Definitely adds a lot of colour. If you're going to do aquariums, you're going to enjoy adding them to your aquariums, along with all the additional fish that are around. There are a few different ocean types, and you'll only find the corals in the warmer oceans, so you won't find them in the cold oceans. They're a little bit rare, but they're not difficult to find if you keep. Sorry, I'm just trying to show you some of the fish that are floating around. They're not totally impossible to find. You just got to be patient and do a little bit of searching. Websites like Chunkbase are quite good because it will tell you where your warm oceans are, so you'll be able to find them fairly easy. From a distance, these are also easy to find. You can't tell so much in the dark, but you'll see that there's a bit of a green tinge to the water, so you can see that from a distance. But in reality, the coral itself is quite easy to spot from a distance, as you can see, and you can see this one really does go for quite a distance. These would quite happily satisfy any biggish base for their coral and fish needs. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you've liked having a little bit of a look into our colourful new blocks, and you'll start thinking of ways that you can incorporate them into your builds. Have a great day, and I'll take care of Mr. Drowned. Bye bye.